Breaking news just into the newsroom. We've got a major ruling from a divided Supreme Court. States are now allowed to cut off Medicaid money to Planned Parenthood. I'm Scripps News' Stephanie Liebergen, and this is Morning Rush. And right now, I want to bring in our Scripps News legal affairs correspondent, Avajoy Burnett, who is joining me live from our D.C. newsroom. So, Avajoy, I know we just got this news within the last hour. What more can you tell us about this case and the decision the justices handed down?
Hey there, Steph. This is a case out of South Carolina. It's a Planned Parenthood case from that state. And remember, there are federal Medicaid laws which provides funding to people who are qualified for Medicaid so that they're able to get care from any qualified provider. Well, back in 2018, South Carolina passed a law which prohibited abortions in the state of South Carolina. And as a result of that law, South Carolina stopped providing certain types of funding to Planned Parenthood, especially because they have 2 clinics in the state that provides abortions. After that, Planned Parenthood, along with one of their patients, sued the state of South Carolina and their Health and Human Services secretary there because they said they have a right to be able to choose the care from any qualified provider, anyone who they believe is qualified to provide this particular care. And the U.S. Supreme Court ruled on this particular matter today. They ruled 6-3 against Planned Parenthood and this patient who sued the state of South Carolina. And essentially, the U.S. Supreme Court is now saying that this particular patient, along with Planned Parenthood, they sued under a law that does not give them the ability to sue the state of South Carolina. This is a really technical case, but essentially what this allows the state of South Carolina to continue to do is withhold funding from Planned Parenthood, especially because Planned Parenthood has these 2 facilities, these 2 clinics in the state that provides abortions, which is against the state of South Carolina's law. In reading this decision that came down from the Supreme Court today, they made it very clear that the state of South Carolina took the steps to ensure that anyone who was eligible for Medicaid funding, that they had alternatives to find care in the state of South Carolina. So even though this lady who sued the state, she said she wanted to be able to go to Planned Parenthood because she had a good relationship with the folks there and it didn't necessarily have to do with abortion, she lost in this matter because the Supreme Court is now saying the state of South Carolina does not have to provide that federal Medicaid funding to Planned Parenthood because in their eyes, Planned Parenthood is violating the state of South Carolina's law. This is a 6-3 ruling, conservatives on one side, the liberals on another side, and this really is a blow for Planned Parenthood and many of the advocates there in the state of South Carolina who are fighting for abortion rights. Steph.
Well, Avajoy, the Chief Justice announced that tomorrow will be the last day for opinions in this term. So what other cases are we waiting for tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, this is the season that legal affairs correspondents like myself really kind of geek out about because we're waiting for those big decisions. Going into today, we had 10 outstanding opinions that were left. We got 4 today, so there's 6 tomorrow. As you mentioned, the Chief Justice said tomorrow will be the last day, so we're getting some really big outstanding cases tomorrow. There are 3 that I'm really looking out for, 5 big ones really, but the 3 top lines that I'm really waiting for is this birthright citizenship case. Remember, on day number 1, President Donald Trump signed an order which aimed to prohibit babies who were born to undocumented migrants here in the United States from automatically becoming United States citizens. This is a case that's made it all the way up to the U.S. Supreme Court, obviously. It came from 3 different lower courts, district courts in different states. And the issue that's at hand here is not the constitutionality of the administration's ability to implement this particular law, but it's whether these lower court judges have the ability to implement nationwide injunctions. These are things that will prohibit the administration from implementing their particular executive orders and mandates. So that is what the justices will be ruling on, not the constitutionality of if children who are born to undocumented migrants are automatically United States citizens. Depending on the ruling there, we could see a situation in the United States where babies who are born in different states could be citizens in one state and non-citizens in another state, but we have to wait to see exactly what the justices determine there. And And then there's this case out of Texas. It has to do with online pornography. The Attorney General there, Ken Paxton, wants for anyone who goes online to view pornography to upload their IDs so that there is an age verification process. The Attorney General wants to ensure that children are not viewing this particular data online, but there are advocates, especially in the adult entertainment industry, who are really concerned about freedom of speech violations and then also security breaches. What if you upload your information online and then there's a leak and then everyone has your ID and know who's viewing this particular piece of information? And then there is one more case a little bit closer to Washington, D.C. We're seeing images of the U.S. Supreme Court there. This case has to do with book bans or opting out of reading certain materials inside schools. It's coming out of Montgomery County, Maryland, and perhaps a book ban is not the right way to describe this, but there is a particular group of parents in Montgomery County, Maryland, who want to opt their children out of reading books about same-sex relationships. They say that is a violation of their religious beliefs. This is a case that's made it all the way up to the U.S. Supreme Court, and we're waiting to see exactly how the justices will rule on those 3 cases, along with 3 others, a total of 6 remaining cases that we will hear about starting at 10 tomorrow. Steph.
Scripps News legal affairs correspondent Abijay Burnett live for us in Washington, D.C. today, and that means we will definitely see you on TV again tomorrow, my friend. Thanks for your analysis.